I had been looking forward to this weekend for months, thinking that everything in my life was finally falling into place. My name is Lucas, I'm 31, and I thought I was about to marry the woman I loved more than anything. Emma had always been the center of my world, the kind of woman you read about in novels, the kind that makes you believe in forever. She was beautiful, smart, and had a laugh that could light up a room. Our friends always said we were the perfect match, and for years I truly believed them. We were sitting at a quiet little cafe downtown, one of those places with mismatched chairs and artisanal coffee that made you feel like you were in a movie. Brunch on a Saturday was supposed to be fun, relaxing, a little indulgent. I had no idea it was going to be the moment my entire world would crumble. Emma looked across the table at me, sipping her latte, her fingers tracing the rim of her cup like she was nervous. She always had these tiny habits that made her seem delicate, almost fragile, and I loved them. Today, though, there was a tension in her posture, a distance I hadn't seen before. "Lucas, I need to tell you something," she said, her voice quiet but steady. I smiled, thinking it was going to be some playful tease, some comment about me being late or about the croissant I had almost stolen from her plate last week. I had no idea how wrong I was. "What is it?" I asked, leaning in, my heart beating faster. She took a deep breath and looked directly into my eyes. "I'm calling off the wedding," she said. The words hit me like a brick. I laughed nervously at first, thinking she was joking, some cruel joke she had been planning to scare me. But when she didn't smile, when her eyes didn't twinkle with mischief, I realized she meant every single word. What?" I stammered, feeling the blood rush out of my face. "Emma, come on, you're joking. This isn't funny." Her hands rested on the table, fingers intertwined, and she shook her head slowly. "I'm not joking, Lucas. I don't love you anymore. I haven't for a while, and I can't do this, can't marry you pretending that everything is okay." For a moment, the cafe around us disappeared. The clinking of coffee cups, the laughter of other patrons, the soft hum of the music, all of it faded into silence. My mind raced, grasping for some explanation, some rational reason why this was happening right now. You don't love me anymore?" I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. My stomach twisted, a sick, hollow feeling spreading through me. "Emma, we've been planning this for months. All our friends, our families, what about everything?" She looked down, chewing her lip as if the words themselves were painful to say. "I can't force myself to feel something I don't, Lucas. I've tried. I've tried so hard to convince myself that I love you the way I used to, but I don't. It wouldn't be fair to either of us to go through with this wedding, to start a marriage built on pretense." I reached across the table, trying to take her hand, needing some physical connection to make this real, to make her change her mind. She pulled her hand away gently, almost apologetically. "Please don't touch me, not like this. I need you to understand that this isn't about you being inadequate or anything you've done. This is me and my feelings, or the lack of them." Her words were calm, measured, almost clinical, but the weight behind them crushed me. I had spent years imagining this day, building it up in my mind as the happiest moment of my life. And now, here she was, unraveling every single expectation I had ever held. "Oh, we can work on this," I said, desperation creeping into my voice. "We can get counseling, talk about why you feel this way. Emma, please, don't do this." She shook her head, slow and deliberate. "No, Lucas. I've already made up my mind. I've been thinking about this for months. The more I try to convince myself that I want to be with you, the more I realize I can't. I'm sorry, truly." Tears welled up in my eyes, though I tried to blink them away. "You don't even love me anymore. How can you just sit there and say this so calmly? Don't you care about how much this hurts me?" She looked at me, her expression softening slightly, and whispered, "I do care, Lucas. I care so much. But love isn't something I can fake, and I would rather end things now than drag this on and make both of us miserable." I leaned back in my chair, feeling like the world had collapsed inward. The sunlight streaming through the cafe windows no longer felt warm. It felt harsh, exposing the ruin of my dreams. I could hear the faint sound of laughter from another table, and it was cruel in its normalcy, mocking the destruction in my own life. "Months?" I said, my voice barely audible. "You felt this way for months and you never told me?" "I didn't know how to say it," she admitted. "I was afraid of hurting you, of losing what we had, but the truth is worse than any temporary pain I could have caused by speaking up. I can't go on like this, Lucas." The contrast between us was staggering. Here I was, desperate, full of love, planning a future that no longer existed, and there she was, calm, composed, unwavering in her decision. I couldn't reconcile it, the juxtaposition of my chaos and her cold certainty. I stared at her, trying to find some trace of the girl I had fallen in love with, the one who had laughed at my stupid jokes, who had held my hand in the dark, who had whispered that everything would be okay. But the person across from me was a stranger wearing her face, a stranger who had decided that what we had was no longer worth preserving. I don't know what to say, I whispered, feeling utterly defeated. I thought we were going to be together forever. I thought you loved me. I did, she said softly. But not anymore. And forcing this to continue would only destroy what we could have left of our friendship, our respect for each other. I'm sorry, Lucas. Truly I am. Her words cut deeper than any scream or argument ever could. The realization hit me like a freight train. The life I had envisioned, the wedding, the vows, the family I imagined, we were never going to have any of it. And worse, I couldn't change her mind. I couldn't fix this. There was no negotiation, no last-minute compromise. I sat there in stunned silence, trying to process the enormity of the moment. My heart was a chaotic storm of grief, disbelief, and longing, and yet she remained serene, untouched by the turmoil she had caused. The waiter came by with our check and I mechanically signed it, my hand shaking slightly. Emma didn't look at me, she only smiled faintly, almost sadly, and placed her card on the table. We stood up and she slipped out of the cafe, leaving me behind with the empty chairs and shattered plans. I watched her walk away, feeling like I was watching my life dissolve in real time. The world seemed colder, quieter, emptier. And in that silence, I realized the truth I had avoided. Some endings come without warning, without argument, without reconciliation. And no matter how much you love someone, no matter how long you've planned, sometimes it's not enough.